Good evening. Welcome to yet another session of Ask Me Anything. So, normally, what I do is I talk on a topic for about 5 minutes. Hi, Kamalnath. Good evening. I talk for about 5 to 10 minutes about a topic and then it's open to questions. You can ask questions on the topic which I spoke on or any other thing. So, I'll answer to my capacity. So, that's how these sessions have been happening. So, these sessions, you know, Ask Me Anything weekly sessions have been happening for quite some time now. I think 86 or 87 weeks. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time on my YouTube channel. Okay. All of you are welcome. So today we have got a topic which a lot of people talk about. It's about milk. So today is milk in Ayurveda. It's a very important topic, relevant topic too. Okay. So let's start. So milk, it's called dugdha, it's called kshira. Okay, so that's the Sanskrit word, and it is the essence of the whole body in the sense for any mother who feeds the baby after she consumes food or due to her lifestyle, good lifestyle, and all those things. The essence, we call that the rasa of the body. That basically the nutritional part of the body gets converted into breast milk. Okay, so the most nutritious part of the body is the one that comes out as breast milk to nourish the baby. Okay, so that is why milk is considered to be extremely important and highly nutritious. And it is something which everybody is habituated from birth. The thing is that we are habituated to our own mother's milk, but we have also been habituated to animals which we grow at home, which we domesticate at home. It could be cow, it could be goat, or whatever it is, camels and all those things. So we are used to milk since birth and since childhood. So it's a part of our life. Good evening, Tejashra. Yes. So the properties of milk. This is something which you have to understand. Okay, it is swadu, that means it is sweet in taste. Snigdham, it's got that oily thing in it. It is snigdha. Dhatu vardhanam, it increases the quality of your tissues. Okay, it nourishes each and every part of your body, each and every cell of your body. Vata pittahara, it pacifies vata and pitta. Vrishyam, it is also aphrodisiac. Shleshmalam, just for the fact that it reduces vata and pitta, it is shleshmala, that means it increases kapha. It is heavy. Milk is not light. Okay, milk is heavy. Sheetalam, it cools the body down. The sense after digestion, it cools the body. Ojasyam, it increases the ojas. That means the glow, the tejas of your body. Ojas to tejo dhatu nam. If all your dhatus are working really well, all your tissues, then there is a glow. That means if you are really healthy, there is a glow that is emitted from your body. That is ojas. And milk increases your ojas. Okay. Now, different kinds of ashtakshira, different kinds of milk have been mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya. Okay, and there are 8 kinds of milk which we use in different parts, in different medicines and all those things. So the milk are human milk, cow milk, buffalo milk, goat milk, sheep milk, camel, elephant. Ekashapha means single hoof. You notice that cow and all have got 2 hoofs, right? Single hoof are horse, donkey, and all those things. So that milk is also useful as far as Ayurveda goes. So 8 different kinds of milk. Okay, now let us go slightly into all the different kinds of milks. Now, cow's milk. It is called Jeevaniyam. That is, it is the best milk, best substance to maintain life. Okay, to sustain life. And then what Rasayanam? Rasayanam is it basically nourishes each and every tissue. Okay, and then Medhya, it gives a lot of intellect. Balyam, it gives strength. Then consuming milk promotes breast milk. Okay, milk directly promotes breast milk. And if you look at the reason why Ayurveda considers milk as a superfood is because this is probably might be the only substance which can pacify hunger and thirst at the same time. You look at when a small baby is hungry, it drinks milk. When the baby is thirsty, it drinks milk. When the baby is sad, it drinks milk. When the baby is angry, it drinks whatever the emotions also. So milk is something which can take care of all emotions also, and especially cow's milk is considered to be superior because it can pacify thirst and hunger at the same time. Okay, now buffalo's milk when compared to cow's milk, it is very very heavy. Okay, so when you're suffering from excessive hunger or sleeplessness, okay, buffalo's milk is given as medicine. Okay, when they've got too much of agni and anidra, when there is no sleep, we basically prescribe buffalo's milk. Okay, in the absence of buffalo's milk, what we tell people to do is to boil cow's milk for some time and reduce it so that it becomes thick. Even though that will not completely give you the properties of buffalo milk, but it becomes more guru than it is more heavier than the normal cow's milk, and it will give that heavy feeling, that tamas into your system, which will put you to sleep. Okay, now goat milk, it is the only milk which is light. And the reason why it is light is because it is and it is very nutritious also, because it eats every plant which is around it. Okay, and it is something which will not sit in a place. Alpambupanat, it drinks very little water and it keeps on running around. Okay, because it keeps on running around, the milk is very light and it doesn't drink too much of water. And since it feeds each and every, it is you'll very rarely find a plant or a leaf which a goat does not eat. Okay, one major plant is vasa or adatoda. Okay, because the Adatoda Vasika or Vasa is Adatoda is basically a Malayalam word. Okay, Ada means goat, Toda means touch. So that is one leaf which a goat will not eat it because it's extremely bitter. So that's the reason why it's called Adatoda. Okay, so apart from that, it eats most of the leaves. So the milk of a goat contains the essence of most plants. So it is considered to be very healthy. Camel, okay, it is that it lives in the desert, in the dry areas, so the milk also is hot. And it is what swalpa lavana alpa lavana taste. It's got a mild salty taste, even though it is predominantly sweet. It's also got a little bit of salt tinge in it. Okay, because of its ushna properties, it reduces vata. And it is light. And for shotha and for arshas, for swelling and for piles, camel's milk is supposed to be very good. Okay, now from there we go to human milk. Human milk is good for eye diseases. Okay, so what happens here is when we get conjunctivitis and issues like that, we squeeze a little bit of breast milk into the eyes, and it clears the eyes pretty fast. So it is best for the eyes, because eye all conjunctivitis and all those things are more because of vata and pitta, and milk is vata pitta hara. And breast milk is extremely light. It is almost equal, looks like or feels like water. So it cleans the eyes also really well. Okay, you can do tarpana and nasya also with human milk. Sheep, sheep is something which is not very tasty. Okay, it is hot in potency, and it also reduces vata because it's hot in potency. And if you consume that for a longer period of time, it can cause vata issues. Sometimes it can cause hiccups, and it can probably give you breathing issues also. Now, elephant, okay, just like the way the elephant is, it is strength promoting, and it is very difficult for a human being to digest elephant milk. Elephant milk is easily digestible by elephant, but for humans, it is not very easily digestible. Now, ekashapa, horse or donkey, it is very, very light. Okay, it is also hot in potency, reduces vata, especially when you have got sandhivata, okay, pain in the knees, pain in the elbows or wrists, okay, vata which is there in the extremities, and it has also got a slightly salty taste. So this is generally about milk in Ayurveda, and if you've got questions, you can start asking your questions. Okay, great. Now let me see what are the questions. Okay. Yes, Kamalnath, good evening. Tejeshwara, good evening. Now, Sitaram, some formulations like Arjuna Kshirapaka, it is recommended to use only cow's milk. Or do you think other animal milk like goat milk based Arjuna Kshirapaka would be more beneficial to the body? So, normally for all these things, we use cow's milk. And wherever you see milk mentioned in Ayurveda, you don't have to think twice, it's always cow's milk. Otherwise, it is specifically mentioned. Okay. So, Arjuna Kshirapaka is something where, we use what do you call it is basically 1:8:32, if I remember right. When it's one part of the herb, you add 8 parts of milk and 32 parts of water. You boil it and bring it to the 8th part of milk. You filter it and have it. Okay. Arjuna Kshirapaka is an important thing. With basically, it is given for problems of the chest. It works very good for the heart and very good for the lungs. Likewise, there's something also called as Lashuna Kshirapaka, where Lashuna means garlic. Okay. Garlic is normally not taken as such. We boil it in milk, and the essence of garlic gets into the milk, and that milk is consumed because it is otherwise garlic is extreme. It's got extreme potency. Okay. So Arjuna Kshirapaka, it is recommended to use cow's milk. Morning, Gary. Morning. Sitaram. Any other dravyas can be used as how potent kshira based preparations are compared to Kwat. Arjuna Kshirapaka, Arjuna Kwat was Arjuna Arishta. See, each and every preparation has got its own place where you use it. Say, for example, if you are using a kwatha is only a water extract of the Arjuna. If you take an example of Arjuna, when you take Arjuna Kwatha or a Kashaya, it is only the water extract that gets into the medicine. But when you use Kshirapaka, you get the water extract and also the fat extract. That means the fat in the milk also, the fat in the milk also gets whatever is fat soluble in the Arjuna into the milk. That's why the formulation changes. Okay. And now when you look at Arjuna Arishta, before you make the Arishta, you make a Kashaya of Arjuna, right? So you get the water extract. And after that, when you ferment it, you also put Arjuna powder into it. Okay. So in Arjuna Arishta, you get the water extract and alcohol extract of the same dravya. So different formulations actually contain different alkaloids or ingredients of the same herb. So in different conditions, you should be basically giving different formulations, so they are not the same. Okay. And when to use, what to use them, how to use them, and all are slightly complicated. It's basically doctors. Yes, I'll be able to answer all those things. Yeah, Gary, my wife Perth has 2 questions. One, when to eat fruit? Okay. Fruit, if you look at fruit, okay, most of the fruits, there might be exceptions, but by and large, most of the fruits are something which cools the system down. Okay, very rarely you'll find something which is ushna. So it cools the system down. And normally people eat it raw. So when you eat a fruit, I would say eat it in the beginning of a meal. That would be the best option. You eat the fruit and then continue with your meal. First thing. Second thing is that since I said that most of the fruit can cool the system down, I always say avoid it probably late in the afternoon towards the evening, because once the sun sets, the whole surrounding cools down. And if you consume something which again cools your system down, your kapha can actually go up. So consume the fruit in the beginning of a meal, and probably at least by lunch, for breakfast or lunch, you can finish your fruit. I would not suggest that you take any fruit for your evening or at night. Does Ayurveda care about morality? That's a good question, Tejeshwaramurthy. I don't know what you exactly mean by morality. Is it about drinking or smoking, or it's about sex? I don't know what you think about. But Ayurveda, in that sense, it does not give too much of importance to morality. If your health demands it, then it is okay as far as Ayurveda goes. Drinking, if it demands, it's fine. Sex, if it demands, it's fine. So Ayurveda does not talk too much about morality, if that is what you want to look at. If even non-veg, if eating that meat will actually help you get better as far as health goes, Ayurveda is not against it. So Ayurveda basically focuses about your health. For that, whatever you do is not bad. But there is also a topic called Sadvritta, where it says, don't hurt people, don't do a lot of things. That's also a different topic. But as far as health goes, in your parlance, okay, it does not talk too much about morality. Kamalnath, what is the proper way to boil cow milk at home? I would not say there is. See, normally we say you boil in low flame, okay, and I would recommend that you keep on stirring it a little bit, so that the heat is uniformly spread out in the whole milk, and then switch off the milk when it slowly starts coming up. So one thing is that if you keep on stirring the milk, you will notice that you will not have that film of what you call that, the cream on top, which normally settles on top. It is when you don't what you call stir it. But if you keep on stirring the milk, you'll notice that that cream does not get formed, and it's good. Okay. There's a pro that no leaf that goat doesn't eat. Yes. Okay. That's why we say in Malayalam, this the only leaf that the goat does not eat is aratora. Okay, and that is what aratora is. So it does not eat that leaf. But generally, the saying goes that anything a goat eats. Goat milk pacifies vata. Okay, it does not aggravate. It does not aggravate vata. It is something which let me put it this way: if a woman does not have enough breast milk to feed a baby, the next option would be goat milk. Okay, add water into it, dilute it, and give goat milk instead of cow's milk. Okay, that is the first choice, because goat milk is something which is closest to the human. Goat is the one that is closest to the human physically, structure wise, and goat's milk is something which is closest to the human being. So, goat milk is very good, and it is also good. It pacifies vata. Second, she takes break. I think you would have meant breakfast, right? She takes breakfast at 10:30, around 3 has hunger and takes water and 3 to 4 dried apricots that were soaked in water for several hours. Okay. So breakfast at 10:30 and around 3 she has hunger and takes water. Okay. So 10:30 her breakfast is perfect, is absolutely no problem at all. Around 3 o'clock has hunger and takes water and 3 to 4 dried apricots. Okay. And then what time is her dinner? That's again another thing. Uh, I would say if her breakfast at about 10:30, 11 is a decent breakfast, and if she feels really hungry, I would say she can have that 3 to 4 dried apples, not a problem. And then see if she's hungry enough to have her dinner at about 6 o'clock or so. Okay, so this I don't think there's a problem with it, but see that her 3 or 4 apricots does not interfere with her dinner at night. Okay. Apart from Arjuna Kshirapaka, any other Kshirapa-based properties available in classical formulation as per text? There are no literature on this. Yeah. That's why I said, there is Lashuna Kshirapaka. Anything, there is one kashayam called Prasaranyadi Kashayam. Okay. So Prasaranyadi Kashayam is something which has to be made in milk. Okay. Prasarani, Masha, Bala, Rasona, it is basically for Apabahuka, where you have got difficulty in lifting your like just something like a frozen shoulder. So Prasaranyadi Kashayam is, so he's got other options also. He says, you either have Prasaranyadi Kashayam made in milk, or after you take Prasaranyadi Kashayam, once it's digest, you should drink milk or have food mixed with milk. Okay, so there are a few preparations, yes, which always says that you should boil milk. And even in fevers, Purana Jwara, especially when a person is suffering from fever for quite some time, low grade fever, always tired, that is where Kshirapaka has been mentioned. You put in herbs which which reduce fever. You make a Kshirapaka and give. Kshirapakas are quite common in Ayurveda, even though in the market you don't get, because you have to make it yourself, right? Because the milk gets spoiled after some time. So the popular ones are Arjuna Kshirapaka and Lashuna Kshirapaka. They are very popular ones. Is it okay? Dinner at 6 is fine, Gary. If she has her apricots at 3, and if she's hungry at 6, it's fine. Don't fix your time at 6, because I would say, or you should probably avoid your apricots at 3 and directly have dinner at 6. But if you have your dinner at 6, I would say that maximum over 2.5 hours, maybe 8:30 or so, she should be in bed. Otherwise, what happens is, you have your dinner at 6, by about 7:38, okay, your food is digested and gone. And if you have already slept by then, okay, then you'll notice that you sleep really well. But if you're still awake, maybe 8:39, what happens by about 8:30, everything's digested and gone, you're still awake, your metabolism doesn't slow down, it's still on, then it really goes up. And by about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you again start feeling hungry. That is also not a good thing. Okay, so you'll have to work it out really. 10:30 and 6 is fine, but I would say 8:30, done. Okay, then get up early in the morning. So it's okay for someone to have full meal at 9 a.m. and then only have dinner at 9 p.m. It is okay. It's not a problem, but 9 p.m. might be a bit too late, because otherwise if you have at 9 p.m., then your sleep might go to about 11:30, if I'm right, So that can be, I would say 10 a.m., 7 a.m., 7 p.m. would be a good choice, Valishri. Okay, you can think about it, because my only worry is that your sleep will get extremely delayed. Some Kshiravala Thailand preparations use goat milk, whereas some brands like Kottakkal AVS use cow's milk. Why difference, even though both follow Sahasrayogam? That's a good question. The Sahasrayogam text says, or it says only milk, Kshiram, and that is cow's milk. So Vaidyaratnam, if it makes through, a goat's milk, then they're doing it because they're doing it like that. But generally, Kshiravala Thailam is made from cow's milk, okay, and not goat's milk. Where is the next question? Let me see. Yeah, I could make that out. Okay, no problem. Yeah. How does ghee help the ojas? Okay, ghee, if you look at, ojas tu tejo dhatu nam shukrandanam param smrtam. Ojas is the end product of the, or not the end product, it is the end product of the dhatu properly forming. That means when rasa comes to rakta, there is a little bit of ojas being released. Okay, rakta to mamsa, again ojas. So ojas to tejo dhatu nam. All the dhatus, tejas is basically it is ojas. Okay. Then snigdham, it is snigdha. Okay, and it is ishat lohita pidakam. Hridayastham avivyapi dehasthiti nibandhanam. It stays in the heart and it travels all around the body. It is snigdha. Okay. So ghee is, and when you say about ghee, it is specifically cow's ghee, not buffalo's ghee. Okay. So cow's ghee is something when you consume, it is something which can easily get through every dhatu. It flows really well. Okay, it nourishes every dhatu and grows really well, and in the process, okay, it increases that little bit of kapha and reduces that pitta and balances the vata. That's why ghee is supposed to be superior. So in that process, it will contribute to the ojo vardhanam. It increases the ojas. Okay, peace be with you. Okay, so it helps in increasing the ojas. Does the full fruit jamun, which is purple pulp, have any specific benefits as per? Jamun is actually a good fruit. Okay, so jamun is basically good for prameha. It works really well for prameha. So you can have that fruit. It works really well. So that's the reason why people consume jamun juice when they have prameha. And if you have got stomach upset, and in the sense, you are not digesting really well, you have a few jamun fruit. After point of little bit of salt, you have a little bit of jamun fruits. After some time, you'll feel that your appetite comes back. Okay. Is exercising pachana or deepanam? Okay, exercise. Laghavam karma samarthyam deepto agni medasakshayam. It only does agni deepti. It is only deepanam. It is not pachanam. So if you have consumed your food and you are going for an exercise, don't think that that exercise will actually help you digest the food. Okay, it is considered to be bad going for exercise after you have consumed food. Exercise will only increase your appetite, but not digest your food. Okay. Next one. Any other foods which increases ojas? Yeah, milk. All milk products. Even what do you call that? Curd when taken in small quantity. But if you go overboard, it'll have the opposite effect. Most of the milk and milk products will increase ojas. Okay, directly. So you can go for milk and milk products. What foods increase pachanam? Okay, especially jeera, shunthi, okay, ajwain, and all those things are pachaka dravya. Most of the arishta or preparative arishtas, like pipalyasam, the chimularistam, the jeera kashtam, and all those things are also pachana dravyas. Pachana is something which help you digest. Deepana is something which will increase your hunger. So those are two different things. Okay. Got about it, but is staying with empty stomach for 12 hours from 9 okay, sir? I think that is not a problem. If you are able to sustain that, and it's again habit, it is okay. But if you are somebody who does a lot of physical activity like exercise and stuff, then you might find it slightly tough. If you say breakfast at 9 and your dinner at 9, if you're not having anything in between, nothing solid in the sense even milk is solid, I'm telling you. If you're drinking only water, even one peanut is solid. If you're not having anything in between, water, yes, of course, then you might feel slightly tired. So, are you following that? Is something which you have to ask yourself. But I would still recommend that you have your morning food at about 10:30, and your evening food at about 6:37. Tender coconut water versus not much of a difference here. Okay, just because it is tender coconut, it's got that zing, but property wise not a huge difference, because Ayurveda does not specifically say tender coconut, it says only nalige rodakam. Okay, nalige rodakam means coconut water. So both are same. The moment the water inside a tender coconut, what happens is as the flesh starts growing inside, the water slowly start reducing. So that doesn't mean that the water uh, loses its properties, or it becomes better or it becomes worse. Uh, Both have got almost the same quality, so you don't have to be too worried about it. Horse or donkey milk, what are some other items that would be help reduce vata in extremities? uh, you know um, Vata in extremities, dravyas you mean, right? So other items. That's a good question. As far as food goes, uh, water, listen to this very carefully. Water boiled with jeera will actually take care of vata from the extremities. That's one thing which you can do. Even hot water, drinking hot water will actually help you. But water boiled with we call it jeera water. Jeera water is something which will take care of your pain in the extremities, not dry ginger water. Okay, jeera water. But donkey milk, yes, but nowadays we are not used to. But in Tamil Nadu, there is a culture. Even now, some people do follow that the first milk they give the baby after it's born is donkey's milk and not mother's milk. So a little bit of donkey's milk is given first, and then mother's milk is given. They say it will pacify the difficulty of the baby after it's come out of labor. So basically, they mean that it will pacify the vata. Okay. What is prameha? Prameha can be compared to diabetes. Prameha is prabhuta avila mutratam. You actually pass a lot of urine or you pass turbid urine. Okay. So passing a lot of urine is something which can be taken as meha. So in modern things, you can compare that to diabetes. Any non-dairy foods which will increase ojas? See, don't even anything you eat at the end of the day has to increase ojas. You specific things I meant, do you drink milk or you take any dairy product, it will directly increase ojas. Anything you eat will indirectly, after a point of time, will increase ojas. Okay, so if you are vegan and you want to find a substitute for milk that will increase ojas, I don't think you might be able to find that. But if you eat all vegetables and you eat rice and all stuff like that, after a point of time, once your body gets nourished really well, ojas automatically grows. But don't look at a substitute for milk. Okay. Yes, Priya, good evening. In Shastika Shali Pinda Sweda, only cow's milk should be mixed with Shali and Bala Molakot, or any other milk I'm used to get the same effect. Any thoughts? Normally, I'll tell you, in Shastika Shali Pinda Sweda in Malayalam is called Nyavarakiri. Okay, Nyavara is the rice, you mean to say Shastika Shali. That means the rice which is harvested in 60 days. That means it comes very fast. Okay, so it is something which is, and we don't use it. Normally, rice is used after 1 year, but Shastika is used immediately. Okay, because it's got that heavy feeling and it will reduce vata and it will increase kapha. That is why it is being used immediately. So no other milk, in my opinion. When you see Shastika thing, wherever you see milk, don't get confused. It is not buffalo's milk. It is not horse milk. It is not human milk. It is only cow's milk. Otherwise, they have to specifically say. Like wherever you see salt, don't get confused whether it is what do you call sea salt or that salt. Whenever you see salt, rest assured it is always Sandalona. Otherwise, they have to specifically tell other salt. Okay. Wherever you see oil, it is only sesame oil. Okay. Don't get confused whether it's coconut oil or whether it's mustard oil. Likewise, whenever you see milk, it's always cow's milk. How to identify a person is able to digest milk or not? If you consume milk and you feel heavy or you feel bloating or stuff like that, then probably milk is not something which is suiting you at that given point of time. It does not mean that it can be temporary. It can be a temporary phase also. I've seen a lot of people who from India, when they go to the US, within 6 months they become lactose intolerant, and when they come back to India, they have payasam, they have tea, they don't have a problem. So probably it's also the kind of milk. Milk is not the culprit. It's the kind of milk which you get in certain places that might be a problem. Okay. So what you do is, if you feel you're having a problem with it, you add little milk, add half water to half milk, and try and see if you're able to digest it. Okay. If you feel bloating and you feel burps coming up and you feel cramps in your tummy and you pass loose motions and all those things, you might be lactose intolerant. Then that might not be a good sign for you to continue taking milk. That's all. That's how you find. Please share what are ways one should not consume milk as per Ayurveda. No, the Ayurveda is not told that you are not supposed to consume milk. Like amla or dadima is something which has been asked. Ghee, honey, and stuff are the things which Ayurveda asks us to consume on a daily basis. Okay. Now it is again your or your yukti, or how you want to use it. There are people who have milk rice every day. You know that for breakfast every day they have rice boiled in milk, and they have that. So extremely strength providing. And night they have something very light. So milk is something which you can consume on a regular basis, according to Ashtanga Hridaya. Any age, no problem. You're talking about cow's milk. I'm also talking about cow's milk. That is something which you can have on a regular basis. Goat milk is something you can have on a daily basis. No problem. There are people who have only goat milk and they are extremely healthy. Why preparations like Kshirotelama you use Avarti 21? Does it mean only that many times boiling is more powerful? Any thoughts, sir? Sitaram Sahu, when you say Kshirabala 101, Kshirabala 101 Avarti Taila, it is basically oil. So what you do is, I can just give you quickly. I'll tell you. So when you're making Kshirabala Taila, you have got you have to use Bala Kashayam has to be there, and Bala paste has to be there. You have to have water to make the kashaya, and then you have to have the milk. Okay, so you boil Bala in the water to make a kashaya first. In that kashaya, you add oil, milk, and the paste. Hope you're able to understand that. And then once the paka comes, once it is properly cooked, you filter it. That is Kshiravala Tela. Okay, that is Kshiravala Tela. Now that Tela is ready. Now when you want to make another Kshir, when you want to make Kshiravala Avarti, what you do is, as you said, you have to have Bala for Kashaya, you have to have Bala paste, you have to have milk, and you have to have oil, right? So you make a Kashaya first, and then you add the paste, and then you have to add oil. But when you add oil, you don't add fresh oil. You add the oil which you have already filtered and kept. That is the Kshiravala Taila. That Kshiravala Taila is added as the oil. Okay, so what is happening is the water extract from the bala gets into this, the fat extract and all those things also gets into this. So then what you do is you again filter it. That is second time. Okay, second avarti is done. Now again you take all these things and add this oil. Third avarti, fourth. So you are not taking fresh oil. Every time you filter it and then the same oil is being added, you are doing it 101 times. Okay, no. So once you take it, so you are actually trying to potensify the oil more and more by doing more and more avarti. Sahasra avarti also can be done. 1,000 avarti also can be done, but that's not an easy thing to do. So we stop with 101. Okay. You understood, right? So that many times cooking, that means that many times it is being potensified. Fresh jaggery or aged jaggery is best for nourishing all dhatus. Fresh jaggery increases kapha to a certain extent, bad kapha. Aged jaggery is something which is pathya, which is okay to have. So it is. So when I say pathya, it will definitely help nourish all the dhatus. So rather than using Buddha or jaggery that is fresh, use jaggery that is old. Likewise with rice also, rather than using fresh rice, use 1 year old rice. Same thing goes with tamarind also, rather than using fresh tamarind, which is extremely sharp, and piercing. We have got that a culture where we pound it with salt so it doesn't get spoiled, and then we roll it and we keep it, preserve it, and we use it only after a year. So what happens is it is still sour, but it loses its sharpness. Okay. Where is it? Which is more important, quality of food? Where did it go? Uh, which is more important, quality of food or quantity of food for healthy life? You know, both are important. So quantity, in the sense, you can't go low in quantity, you can't go high in quantity. So the right quantity has to be consumed. And food, you can't eat stale food, you can't eat food which are extremely spicy or something. So the quality of food and the quantity of food, both are extremely equally important for a healthy life. Just because you eat some crap, in huge quantities, need not give you health. Suppose you're eating very healthy things, but eating only little, that is also not good for health. So both ways, quantity and quality, both are important. Green lime versus ripened lime versus lemon, which one does not increase pitta? See, lime, lemon, all those things, I don't know whether you meant satukudi here, sweet lime, I didn't see that. But otherwise, even if it is satukudi, so you have got something called citric acid in it, so it is basically acidic. So all of them will definitely increase pitta. There is no second thought to it. Plus, it is amla. Anything which is amla rasa to that extent, it has got too much of Agni Mahabhuta in it, and it will increase your pitta. Oranges also, don't worry. There are different regions in India, they make salt with milk and rice, and while cooking also they use cow's milk in food with salt. I guess it's not allowed in Ayurveda, it's Viruddha. Yes, salt and milk or sour and milk is not something which should be consumed on a regular basis. It becomes Viruddha. So I don't know where. I've never heard about salt being added to milk. I'm not, but if you say yes, you might be knowing better. But I have not heard about salt being added to milk. Because I feel that when salt is added, milk can break. Right? Does Ayurveda believe disease occur only due to dosha imbalance or karma also? Yes. When you karma in this life is your lifestyle, okay, it can definitely lead to dosha imbalance. So your dosha imbalance is the only reason. Rogastu dosha vaishamyam. Okay, rogahatu, a disease only because of dosha vaishamya. A disease can occur only if there is an imbalance in doshas, and those doshas can become imbalanced due to your food, your what do you call, your lifestyle, lot of things. As you said, karma, it can be also, we see, if you believe in your previous birth karma, yes, purva janma kritam papam vyadhi rupena jayate. Whatever karma, purva janma, you have, whatever papa you have done in your previous life, vyadhi rupena jayate, it comes in the form of a disease in this janma. And that disease is also because you have got a dosha imbalance. But if your doshas are in balance, dosha samyam arogata, will not have disease. In South, I've noticed they make jackfruit payasam with milk. Whatever there are, is it not allowed? Yeah. See, Priya, you are. I think we are taking. I don't. When I mean you, I didn't mean specifically you. Okay. So let us not be very strict here. Jackfruit payasam and banana payasam and all those things are things which are served during festivals or some occasions. Once in a while, And when you look at sadhya, what Kerala people have, the rice, and they say, oh, the most healthiest food. It is not. It is a feast. It is all apatya. It is all viruddha. It's all bad food. Okay, but you're having, how, when do you have it? You're having probably once in a month or once in 3 months. It's all fine. You understand, right? Jackfruit paisam and all you have once in, it's absolutely no problem. But if you keep on having that on a regular basis, so when you say about viruddhahara also, you go and what you call, you fish and milk, you have one day, doesn't mean that you're going to die. But if you keep on having that consistently, then you will have the imbalance in dosha. So viruddha is also cumulative. It is not overnight. Just because you have curd at night doesn't mean that next day you're dead. But you keep on having curd at night, over a period of time, you will see that kapha dosha keeps on increasing and you will fall sick. It is not that when you say visha, it's not that you're going to die. It is something which will cause vishama, which will cause discomfort. That's all viruddhahara is. Viruddhahara is not something which will kill you. Okay? My hometown, Andhra Pradesh. For constipation, we use kshira with castor oil to relieve constipation. But in Karnataka, I saw people consume castor oil with warm water together. Which one is more correct? It is again happy. The one that acts really well is castor oil. First thing. Second thing is that milk also, if you consume a lot of milk, if you just imagine, if you drink 100 ml, no, sorry, 250 ml of milk, you'll automatically pass soft bowels. Especially for a pitta person, when he takes a lot of milk, he'll pass soft bowels. So milk also promotes, soft bowels. So either way is fine. If you take with milk or with water, both are fine. The one that is relieving your constipation, I'm telling you about 80%, 90% is the castor oil. But when you take it with water, water does not help too much in relieving constipation. Okay. But when you take it with milk, milk also add about 10-15%. So it's not about right or wrong. That is the way culture is. They make jackfruit paisam with milk, whatever. Okay, I've already answered that. Okay, I think we are coming to an end of the session right now. Slowly. I want to do langhana. What foods to take? For the first thing, langhana doesn't mean fasting. Okay, that is upavasa. Langhanam, Brahmanam yad brihatvaya, Langhanam laghavaya yat. Okay, that which will actually give you lightness is all langhana. Brihatvaya means that will increase your thing is Brahmana. Okay. So Laghavaya yet, that is Langhana. So anything which you reduce. So I would say, if you are somebody who consumes, I'm just giving an example. If you're somebody who consumes 4 idlis in the morning and this much of rice in the afternoon and probably another 4 idlis at night, if you reduce that to 2 idlis and reduce the rice by a little bit and reduce the night also a little bit, that is automatically Langhana. That means you have reduced what you're taking. Okay, walking is langanam. That anything that can reduce your thing is also langanam. Langanam is not only about food. Langanam is food and your lifestyle. So when you're thinking of langanam, first you cut down the amount of food you eat, solid foods at least. Then slowly you can think of getting into, might be only vegetable soup, or only a few vegetables, or other soups and things, juices and all those things. But I would say Langanam basically means reducing. Okay, when you say Langhanam Paramaushadam, Langanam is not fasting, Langanam is reducing your food, reducing your intake. Please make a session of rice, because Kerala based rice varieties are the Palakkad Matta, how you look at it as from Ayurvedic point of view. The Palakkad Matta is not something which Ayurveda looks at. We talk about rice in general, there are different kinds of rice, but Ayurveda considers most of the rice as one category. Now, after there were not many rices in those days, lot of things have been genetically modified and stuff like that, and things, a lot of rices have IR20, Indian rice, IR20, IR40, IR, all those things have been created, genetically modified and created. Those might not be good rices. So if you can get the traditional rice, it will be really good. Yes, we can definitely have a talk on rice. Okay, and rice is considered to be really good as far as Ayurveda goes. In Kapha, is there something like bad kapha and good kapha? For one question on fresh jaggery, you mentioned it will aggravate bad kapha. Can you please explain? There is nothing called bad kapha or good kapha. Kapha is kapha. But when you consume something, because kapha dosha is there, it can actually create a problem. That's what when I meant by bad kapha. So when your kapha uh, rises beyond a certain limit, you start feeling heavy, you start feeling indigestion, you start heaviness, your nose starts running, all the kapha lakshanas will start going up. So what when you spit, people call he's spitting kapha. It is not kapha, it is actually the mala, or the byproduct of kapha. That's what I meant by bad. So your bad kapha actually goes up, when you consume fresh jaggery. It can block all, like just like what do you call, yogurt or curd. It's abhishadi. It can block all your channels and it can increase kapha. Okay, that is a good question. In outside, they like to make salt with the milk rice combo. Oh, okay. That means they might be putting that rice and eating it immediately. Okay, they might not be cooking it with salt. If they cook it, immediately gets spoiled. I prefer to avoid Viruddha as much as possible, doctor, because I have recovered from bad, and I don't want to take risks. True, we don't want to take a risk, but I would say, body is smart enough. Once in a while, you have a small quantity of something, I don't say your body is gonna crash. As I said, everything is cumulative. You keep on adding to it, or you would have taken so much of Viruddhahara that probably your digestion has gone for a toss. But otherwise, a little bit here and there, once in a while, body knows how to manage. But Priya, I would say, if something doesn't suit you, stay away from it. Okay, stay healthy. That's more important. In Ayurveda, only mixing certain meats cause sudden death, or even there are plant combinations. Certain meat mixing, I have not seen where they say it will lead to sudden death. Okay, there are plant combinations. A lot of poisons are there which can actually kill you. But combinations, when you say viruddhahara is not something, as I said, viruddha ahara is not something which will kill you. It will only cause vishama. Okay, visha, it becomes visha because it can cause vishama. And once it causes vishama and you keep on doing that over a period of time, then your health can deteriorate and then you can die. But it's not something you eat something and you die. It doesn't happen. Is it okay to Avipati Churnam in milk, as I have a habit of drinking a glass of milk before going to bed? Yes, you can take Avipati Churnam in milk. Absolutely no issues at all. Avipati Churnam reduces pitta. Milk also reduces pitta. But the only thing is that you should be able to digest that milk. Okay. Otherwise, you can take Avipati Churna also in water. Okay. With milk, it's okay, but you should be able to digest it. So the last question for the day: Can you suggest some healthy dinner options? I think I don't know how to answer that question well, actually, because it all depends upon what you are used to. Okay, there is nothing called a good option. There is nothing called a bad option. Rice is good, wheat is good, millets are good. Milk is good. Anything is good if you don't overeat and you're able to digest it and you are used to eating it. Okay, probably you being from Andhra Pradesh, I would not ask you to have avocado fruit at night. Okay, or a bread sandwich, avocado bread sandwich with cheese at night and say it's healthy. Probably for somebody else, it could be healthy, but there's nothing like a healthy or non-healthy. You should know what suits you, and you should eat on time, and you should eat moderately. Okay. How to recover lost sleep in the morning? Huh? In the sense you have not slept during the night, and how to recover that. Ayurveda says very clearly, if you have missed your sleep at night, okay, it says you have to sleep, say 8 hours of sleep. If you have missed your 8 hours of sleep, he says you sleep 4 hours, sleep half of that, and then manage it, and then try to put it back the next night. Try to again bring it back. So you sleep half of what you normally sleep. Okay, that's how you recover. Any solution for pitta? Most hair fall are basically pitta related. Your hair fall, your hair roots actually go through their lifespan faster than normal and they fall off. Okay. And other thing is that it can be kapha, because you are almost always in the air conditioned environment or with dust or something. You're always congested. You have got heavy in the head, your sinuses are full, so the blood supply and nutrition fails to reach the hair roots, and your hair will fall. There are different reasons why hair falls. So most thing is pitta related. I would say any food which can increase pitta, like sour, salty, and spicy foods, alcohol, smoking, staying awake at night, too much of spicy, all those things, over exercise, getting too exposed to heat, and all those things will increase pitta, and ultimately your hair will fall. Anything that can reduce pitta will help you in that conditions. Okay. Does Ayurveda believe in full moon and new moon? How is it scientific? Uh, if you, well, I don't know what do you mean by whether Ayurveda believes in full moon and new moon is always there. No, everybody knows that it's there, and everybody believes in that. And how scientific you mean the effect of that on the human body is also scientific, 100% scientific. Otherwise, a person who goes mad will never be called a lunatic. You know what? A lunatic is somebody who's got the effect of the lunar or the moon. And you will notice that if the moon has an effect on the ocean water, the water of the ocean can be pulled, because of the uh, effect of the moon. How do you think it will have? Don't you think it will have an effect on the human body and human psyche, where we are also made of 70%, 60%, 70% of water? It is definitely going to have an effect. Okay, so it's truly scientific. It's only whether the way you want to look at it. Okay. Is there any good replacement powders like Boost or Horlicks? Powder, there are no. Why do you want to replace? I would say drink milk if you want to drink. Don't add anything. Malt and all those things. They are not very healthy. They are all taste makers. It was Boost, Horlicks, all those things started so that kids were made to drink milk. Kids refused to drink milk, so they started bringing out Bonvita, Boost, Nutramol. When we were kids, there was something called Viva and all those things which used to mix in milk so that the taste of the milk changes, so that you consume milk. Okay, they're not healthy. Yes, Kamalnath, good night. Thank you. Priya, thank you. Good night. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Some other topic. Till then, bye.